You ever have that one piece of media from a franchise you love that you always say you want to check out, but never actively seek it out? So you keep putting it off until one day you realise you never had any intention of watching it in the first place? The Sonic OVA. Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, as it was called at the time, not to be confused with the 2020 Sonic movie, was a Japanese animation created by Studio Pierrot in collaboration with Sega and the creatively named General Entertainment. Released in 2 parts during the spring of 1996 in its home country, this was one of the earliest animated Sonic projects that Sega took more of an active role in producing. Now, I'm sure those of you who aren't anime fans, the uncultured among us, are probably wondering what OVA even stands for. Well, it's pretty simple. It stands for Overrated Visual Advertisement. Original Video Animation. Sorry, there must have been an editing issue there. I wish I could tell you much about the production of this 2-part animation, but there's not much we really know about how it came to be. It was exclusive to Japan for a little bit, before being dubbed into English, and then released around the time Sonic Adventure came to the US. Not the only Sonic cartoon to come out around the same time. Though gun to my head, if I had to pick between the two, I'm picking the one with the Knuckles in a silly hat. Sorry DeviantArt OCs. Oh, and spoiler alert for the OVA. The movie starts off pretty good. We see some establishing shots of Metal Sonic, presumably right after being built. Then we cut to some owl creature flying in a machine of some sorts. Kinda weird, but okay. The movie is still off to a good start. And then Tails opens his mouth and that completely goes out the window. For whatever reason, they made him sound all nasally. This was definitely intentional, as his dialogue makes him come across as a whiny little child. And Sonic isn't much better in the voice department. Though he's not as bad, I still question the voice direction that they went with. In hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have watched the dub for this. But I'm sorry, Nihongo wo hanashimasen. While we're on the topic of Sonic and Tails, they share quite a bizarre dynamic in this movie. We typically never see them bicker in most adaptations, as they almost always seem to get along instantaneously, but Tails is depicted more akin to Sonic's annoying little brother, and Sonic here is probably the most snarky he's ever been since. He gives me the vibe less like a hero, and more like a bored teenager who just happens to have these powers, but would rather be doing anything else with them. As I watched more of the movie, it became clear that they pulled a lot of inspiration from the Sonic CD intro animation in the way the shots play out. This would make sense, seeing as it was the most true to Sega's vision of Sonic in animation at that time. The OVA also incorporates elements from the games that a lot of cartoon adaptations of the time rarely would, such as Tails' plane being called the Tornado, the warp zones making an appearance from the special stages, and accurate Badnik designs. So anyway, Sonic is called to the President's office because Dr. Robotnik has kidnapped him and tells Sonic he needs to go to Robotropolis to fight an evil Robo-Robotnik, try saying that 5 times fast, who has kicked Robotnik out of his lair. After some deliberation, he and Tails agree and are given a watch that leads them to the Dark Ruined City. This is where they run into this metallic monster. At first they try to avoid fighting it, but unfortunately for them, they are unable to do so, resulting in them getting into a battle. And I got to say, this whole sequence is one of my favourites in the whole movie. It is here, after Sonic and Tails get into a sticky situation, they're saved by Knuckles sporting a cowboy hat. For the longest time, I never really got why people liked the Knuckles hat, but now having seen where it comes from initially, I totally get it. It's not just a hat they like, it's a character. He's probably my favourite in this whole movie. His voice direction, much like the other heroes, is a bit off, and that's not at all how I would expect Knuckles to sound, but it grew on me quite quickly, and I think it works nicely, at least for this iteration of the character. After the robot is destroyed, Team Sonic head down into the core of the base, and it is here they meet Metal Sonic for the first time. It is also here when Robotnik makes another appearance, and okay, I can't not talk about it any longer. What is it with this movie and this character here? Her name is Sarah, and throughout it seems everybody's just pining after her. Part of the stakes in this movie is Robotnik wanting to marry her after he gets his way, and oh god, I sure hope she's not a teenager. But then uh-oh, she also has a crush on Sonic and is flirty with Knuckles, who both are teenagers, so oh god, I hope she is their age.
Tails! Tails! Get off!
I'm so sorry.
I never thought you'd stoop that low.
Why is everyone in this movie so freaky? Somebody better get Kendrick on the phone. Something I was conflicted about in this movie is how they handle Metal Sonic. Robotnik apparently copied Sonic's data to complete Metal Sonic, but then during the fight scenes he barely does anything Sonic does. He teleports, he flies. Okay, maybe Sonic can fly in this movie, but that's not my point. One of the reasons Metal Sonic works usually is because he's just as powerful as Sonic. He's his mirror, his equal. He's someone that Sonic must outsmart rather than outmaneuver to defeat. Sonic and Metal Sonic start to duke it out, while Tails and Knuckles can't catch up to them, so they spend some time trying to track them down, while at the same time using the watch to explain to the audience that Sonic and Metal are exact copies, something that will be crucial later. I really like Tails and Knuckles sharing screen time with each other. It's nice to see them working together, something that we seldom see in the Sonic series. I sometimes wonder whether Tails and Knuckles are really friends, or if they only hang out together because they both like Sonic. I do wish we could have got just a little bit more from both of them together, but I'm happy with what we got in their little subplot. All of this culminates with Robotnik having Sarah and Sonic and Metal being locked into combat. Tails and Knuckles show up to save Sarah, but it's not until the President shows up does anything really start to change for the duo that are currently fighting. The President crashes and gets stuck in his ship. The situation only gets worse when Metal Sonic is knocked into it, causing an explosion. And as Metal Sonic is in the final throes of his life, he makes a heel-face turn and rescues the President from the damage. However, in a shocking turn of events, he falls into a subglacial volcano. Sonic witnessed Metal's brave actions and he jumps in to try and save him. But then just as he's about to help, Metal refuses Sonic's help and departs from this world. But he leaves Sonic with one final message.
There is only one Sonic.
And that's it pretty much. This weird little semi-obscure, heavily mythologized piece of Sonic history is certainly interesting. I think I like it a lot more than I let on. It can be very weird at times, and the way it handles the characters is certainly unique and of its day. But I had a lot of fun watching it, and I would highly recommend checking it out to any Sonic fan who hasn't. Just don't hold out for a Blu-ray release. The OVA is probably in my top 5 Sonic animated projects now. With that said, I give it a respectable 7 out of 10. And to end this review, I say what's better than a 90s dance party? Kick it!